friends, you're watching Mimi's Mixed Bag. Thought I would take you into the front part of our house and show you what we've been up to the last 9 or 10 months in the front of our house. I will try to insert some before footage of our flooring and just what was on the walls and some of the decor items and furniture and things we had. But we've kind of done a makeover on the front half of our downstairs, the living room and the dining room. I just wanted to stop for a minute before I do any more deconstructing of this front living room. It's kind of a catch-all right now. I've got a mess going on, but I wanted to stop and show you a before pic. I think I'm going to buy a couple new chairs and move these chairs upstairs. I may decide to redo these coffee tables. I think I'm going to spruce this up and make it look a little different. So just wanted to give you a before shot. And so what you're looking at now is the inside of our new front door. This front door was purchased at Lowe's. And I don't know if you've ever priced front doors, but I can tell you now, they are certainly not cheap. They're in the thousands of dollars. You know, ours was a little more expensive just because this is a custom built home by someone else, and it was a funny size, and my husband worked so much that he could have put the door in himself, but he just had to pay somebody to do it. And so a Lowe's contractor did it and did a wonderful job. It's a beautiful color, and maybe my next video when I show my Valentine decor, you can see the outside. It's just, you know, we really like it. It's a really dark burgundy color. This is our entry hall, and so I'm just going to pan down and show you the biggest thing we did is that we ripped up the flooring in this room and in the dining room and stained the concrete. We're not 100% happy with it just because it's not quite the color we wanted, but you know, it is 100% pet proof, and that's what the driving force was for this whole makeover in front of the house. We've had hardwood 2 different times in here, and we've got 2 wiener dogs, and they just have ruined it. I mean, we take them out, but they still will use a bathroom in the house whether you think they are or not. They had to bring the floor down all the way to the slab, and then they put this, I'm just going to kind of walk in here and kind of pan around, and I'll have a couple shots of what they did. This is a shot of after 2 days of the man being here, putting on 2 layers of what's called VersaBond. VersaBond is kind of a real thin set mortar that you apply with a trowel. You just mix it together in a 5-gallon bucket, and you kind of get on your knees and you just kind of ice the cake all the way across the room. Now this room, you know, all 3 areas have 2 coats. The two rooms really didn't need so much 2 coats because the main thing we were covering up were the tack strips where carpet was originally. But in this entry hall was really rough shape. After my husband used the machine and scraped up the ceramic tile, it definitely needed 2 coats to make this floor smooth again. Now that it's all said and done, we realize now how easy that process was. But it was, I mean, I'm glad we paid somebody to do it and we knew it was done right. But from now on, if we ever decide to do this again, we will probably do that ourselves because we've done a bunch of tiling and stuff ourselves, and if you can do that kind of stuff, you could certainly do this. The next thing we've got to do is my husband is going to buy a pump sprayer, and he's going to actually just spray it in circular motions. And a consuming thing before we wrap this project up is having to redo the trim all around all 3 rooms. You know, after you took the hardwood off, it made this huge gap between the bottom of the trim and the floor. Now we've had to go and lengthen all of our trim, even some of our trim on all of our, if you look at the bottom of these doors, we had these decorative wooden blocks at the corner of all of our trim. I'll give you a shot tomorrow night of my husband swirling that paint around. The color we picked out was camel, and it is supposed to be this light and dark look. Tonight he has got to neutralize some of this with some ammonia. You know, like when you get a spray tan and it has that residue, you know, after the day, you know, the next morning that you need to wash it off. Well, that's kind of like it. It's like we've spray tanned the concrete floor. So we got to get that residue off, and then once that's off, that's when we will actually seal it. So just wanted to give you a little peek at what the rooms look like now that we've actually sealed them, got some fans going because the fumes are absolutely ferocious. I told my husband it kind of reminds me of a Mexican restaurant. You know, it's okay. It's not the color we wanted, but there's no reversing in it unless you just started from scratch. So we are going to deal with it. Most of my stuff was kind of brown and earth tones anyway, so we made it work. But this is what stained concrete looks like. And our next project is the den that we're going to start here in a week or so. But let me just show you what we did in here. I bought these 2 chairs a while back at Target.com. They're kind of a gold yellow color. And then I totally scored on these curtains. These are a thrift store find. I needed something that was kind of rust and yellow and cream. I wasn't exactly sure where I was going, but I knew I had bought these chairs. And so I knew I needed to find something. Well, I found 4 panels, perfect size. So I think I paid $40 for these two sets of lined panels. Maybe when I pan around some you can see, but just a real pretty stripe. Love them. These tie backs I got at some thrift store. They were in the package. I thought those were pretty because I have lots of gold accents in this room, and so it worked out fine. You know, with us having this new floor, I kind of did away with a lot of my cherubs and some of those 90s kind of shabby chic looking things. This is still a work in progress. The main thing I got to do is just figure out where to put some of these decor things. To be honest, I really got too much between my stuff and my mother's stuff from her estate. You know, I'm just trying to cull out what I really want to keep. But this is my fireplace. Not a whole lot has changed here. I totally scored on those 2 candlestick lamps at a yard sale this summer for $5 for both of them. And it's just with the exact color I needed, this kind of burgundy and gold yellow color. And I've always usually had a wreath hung up on that mirror. I just hung up that middle piece just for something different. Here, these are 3 pictures that I shared in a thrift store haul not too long ago that I just love those right there. And I found this picture at Marshall's. It says, "Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful." Love that saying. I had to go back and get it. I made a special trip to go back and get it at Marshall's, and you would not believe it was not 2 weeks later I found this exact same picture at a Goodwill. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, I already had my own. Now these glass top wrought iron tables, those were from before, but we changed them up. My husband took them all apart, and they were a green color. We spray painted them kind of a taupe color. We thought maybe they'd be a little more neutral. Not real crazy about them. I'm definitely going to do away with them at some point in time because our next home will not have a formal living room. This is just wasted space for us. And that's really why it took us so long to redo this room, is because we just don't come in here. It's just kind of a wasted space, place that we have to heat and cool, and will eventually do away with that in our next house. These are some lamps that are from JCPenney's. I've had them for a while. My same couch I had. All these pillows were thrift store finds. These bird pillows were actually just pillow covers, zipped pillow covers. And then I've had that little leopardy fringe pillow. Up here, that's a new picture I bought just because I liked the colors. I was looking for rust and burgundy and yellow and found this picture at Big Lots, this big sofa picture for $8. Couldn't believe that. Total score on that. I came across these sconces at Home. I saw these about a month ago. They're not super quality, but I did pay $40 for them. But I thought they were pretty neutral, and I could use those anywhere in the house at some point in time, but I thought those were pretty. Now this wall over here, this is kind of my catch-all corner. These are just things that I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with. You know, it's just things that, you know, like my children's very expensive graduation pictures and things that I've just got to find somewhere else in the house to put them. And then this was just a big Memphis print from Beale Street that I had upstairs in the hallway that I brought down because it did have some burgundies and golds in it. Now the entry hall, nothing's really changed. This has always been kind of a gallery wall with things on there, and nothing's really changed with that. I did buy this summer, and I'm going to spray paint that. I just hadn't done it yet, and I bought that at kind of a resale shop that had these yellow bell flowers stuck in there, and I thought, oh, I'm going to spray paint that metal thing to kind of match, but just hadn't done that yet. So here we are walking into the dining room. The biggest change in here was the furniture. If you follow me, you know I had kind of a dark cherry dining room suite that I've had for like 15 years. Well, I ended up selling it on a Facebook site. Lady come and bought it. And so what this is actually my mother's furniture. This is her. It's light oak. It's really not my style. She had left this to my daughter and told my daughter that I would store it for her for 3 more years until she decides what she wants to do with it. And then she's got to take it because she's got 3 more years of where she's being stationed at. Just gonna make the best of it. I got this china cabinet out of storage this past weekend. It needs to be cleaned. We just haven't done it yet. My husband's got to tighten up some of the glass brackets and put the glass shelving in and things like that. But it is a beautiful piece of furniture. It's not cheap by any means, and it's beautiful, and my daughter will enjoy it. Over here, I love this. I found this past summer at a thrift store. This was a big wooden initial. My hand's on the camera. I'm just going to show you how lazy I am. I bought it at a thrift store. It was lime green, very ugly. And I came home and painted it cream and rubbed a little brown paint on it to kind of antique it, and then took a gold Sharpie and kind of trimmed out the end. And so it's just really pretty when you come in the front door, you see that monogrammed big wood thing there. This picture right here was originally above my couch. That was, I don't know if anyone has a Steinmart around their town, but I think they only have a few locations. But this is a huge Magnolia picture that I decided to move to the dining room. And up here above, this was back before anyone had vinyl cutters. I could have done this myself for pennies. This is just a vinyl saying that says, "Give us this day our daily bread." And I bought it from Simply Said a few years ago. That is a company that used to sell things, you know, those words you put on the wall. And I still love it so that I didn't want to cover it up. I've had that little sewing machine table with the marble top. These are just some plants that I have kept alive. This was a plant from my mother. This black plant is from 2008 from my dad's funeral that I've managed to keep alive. It's nearly died and I've brought it back. And this right here, this big Scheffalera, this is from my mother's funeral back in 2012. So I actually killed this to a twig, and now I've managed to have it grow back 2 foot tall. So it's really pretty, and I like it. And so this is what the table normally looks like. This is my January runner. I bought that, I don't know, a year or so ago at a thrift store. I just liked it because it kind of looked like snowflakes, and I thought that was pretty for January. So I just wanted to share with you my front of the house before I start decorating up for Valentine's a little bit. I hadn't got to decorate this part of the house in almost a year, so I'm excited to do that. And just share with you these curtains. These are some curtains that I scored several years ago on eBay from JCPenney's. They're just some linen colored panels. My husband made me those 3 rods there. I like the way that looks. This is, let me just pan around a little bit, the front of the house. Now I'm gonna get ready to decorate for Valentine's. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.